Welcome to the Gods Among Us video podcast, where we delve into the intricate relationship between human culture and the divine. In this episode, we'll uncover the fascinating mathematical links between the ancient wisdom of Kabbalah and the IFA divination system. Stay with us as we journey through these mystical traditions and explore the patterns that connect them.
Ready for a deep dive into the heart of the universe.
Yeah.
Today we're going to explore a fascinating connection, one that really blurs the lines between ancient wisdom and, well, the very fabric of reality.
Okay.
We're talking about the unexpected link between Kabbalah, the mystical tradition within Judaism, and Ifá, a West African divination system, both bound by, get this, the language of mathematics.
Really?
Yeah. And our guide for this journey. Excerpts from Kabbalah and Ifá divination, which explores this very connection.
Interesting. So what's so intriguing here is how two traditions, seemingly worlds apart, separated by continents and time, both ended up using mathematical patterns to try to make sense of the universe. And of course, humanity's place in all of it.
It's like these ancient cultures were tuned into something fundamental, something deeper, like a hidden order beneath the surface. So let's start with Kabbalah. When we say Kabbalah uses math, what exactly are we talking about?
Okay, so picture a tree. Not just any tree, though. Imagine the Kabbalistic Tree of Life.
Okay.
And this isn't your average oak or elm. It's a complex diagram, a map of existence, if you will, with 10 interconnected spheres. These are called sephirot.
Sephirot.
Yeah, and they represent different aspects of God, creation, the whole shebang. But here's the thing. Their arrangement, not random at all. They're meticulously placed according to a very specific ratio. And that ratio is the golden ratio.
Wait, hold on. The golden ratio, you mean like that 1 to 1.618 proportion we see everywhere in nature, from seashells to galaxies? You're saying that's the backbone of this mystical tree of life.
Exactly. Yeah. This ratio, often seen as representing, this perfect harmony, this proportion, it's woven into the very fabric of the tree of life. The way these sephirots are arranged, their distances, their proportions, they all reflect the golden ratio.
Wow.
It's like this principle of harmony isn't just some aesthetic thing. It might actually be like a fundamental building block of creation itself.
That's mind-blowing. So we've got this ancient mystical diagram structured using this ratio we find throughout the natural world.
Yeah.
It's like the ancients had this sneak peek into the source code of reality, and they encoded it in these traditions.
It's a possibility. And what's even more fascinating is that this isn't just a Kabbalah thing. Let's hop across the globe to West Africa, where we find the IFA divination system, practiced for centuries, and it holds its own set of secrets, also written in the language of mathematics.
Now, Ifá has always seemed incredibly complex to me. This whole system of divination used to get answers to life's big questions. How does math even fit into that picture?
So Ifá is built on this system of 16 principal gods, or orishas, and they're each associated with unique symbols and patterns. And these symbols are used in divination, often marked on like a wooden tray or a board.
Okay.
What's remarkable is that the arrangement of these symbols, like the very structure of this divination system, also reveals this deep connection to mathematical principles. It's really quite amazing.
So we're seeing both Kabbalah and Ifá using math as this way to understand, to interact with the universe, but they're doing it in very different ways.
Yeah.
It's like they each have their own language, their own system of symbols, but at the core, there's this shared foundation of mathematical principles.
Precisely. And to really grasp this connection, we need to dig a bit deeper, explore the specific patterns that weave through both traditions. Things like the Fibonacci sequence.
Yeah.
This takes us beyond just the golden ratio, into the realm of growth and expansion, and well, it gets really interesting.
The Fibonacci sequence,
Right.
1, 2, 3, 5, 8, and so on, with each number being like the sum of the two that came before it.
Exactly.
It's this pattern, and this is the cool part, that seems to pop up everywhere in nature.
Yeah, it's really quite remarkable.
Think about it, the spiral arrangement of seeds in a sunflower, or the way a nautilus shell grows, it's really kind of incredible.
Very.
It's like this sequence is nature's blueprint for like growth and expansion.
Yeah. And it's not just a coincidence that this same pattern, this Fibonacci sequence, appears in both Kabbalah and Ifá.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So in Kabbalah, the arrangement of those sephirot, those spheres on the Tree of Life, they actually align with the Fibonacci sequence.
Get out.
It's true, reflecting this kind of hierarchical flow of energy within like the divine structure.
Okay.
And then in Ifá,
Yeah.
this sequence, it's reflected in how the symbols on the divination board are arranged, which suggests, again, this similar pattern of like interconnectedness and how events unfold.
So we've got the golden ratio, we've got the Fibonacci sequence, both showing up in these two different traditions.
Yeah.
It's like these ancient cultures, they somehow tapped into this like shared language of the universe.
They were onto something, that's for sure.
A language written in, get this, mathematical patterns. But what does it all mean,
Right.
What's the takeaway for someone like me who's trying to like wrap my head around all of this?
Well, for one thing, it suggests that the universe, it isn't this chaotic or random place, but rather it's governed by like these underlying principles. And we can learn about these principles through observation and, understanding.
Right.
Both Kabbalah and Ifá, they offer a glimpse into this underlying structure.
Okay.
But, it's important to remember that these traditions aren't claiming they have all the answers.
It's like they're each pointing to a different piece of the puzzle.
Exactly.
And when you put all those pieces together, they reveal this much bigger picture.
Right.
It's not about one tradition being right and the other being wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
It's more about like recognizing that shared language, those common threads that connect us all.
Exactly. We're not just talking about ancient mysticism here. This is about seeing the world in a different way, recognizing the patterns, the connections, all of it.
It's like our source material was saying.
What's that?
It hints at this deeper understanding of reality,
Yeah.
a reality woven together by these mathematical relationships.
It's like suddenly seeing the matrix code behind everyday life,
Well, yeah.
But this all begs the question. If math is this universal language, this hidden code, then what other secrets might we uncover by exploring these traditions like Kabbalah and Ifá even further? That's the beauty of diving into these ancient systems of knowledge, right? We're not just uncovering historical curiosities, we're opening ourselves up to different ways of perceiving the universe and our place within it. Think of the possibilities. What if we looked for these same patterns in other traditions, other cultures?
It's like our source material was saying, it's not about pitting these systems against each other, declaring one right and the other wrong. It's about recognizing that each might hold a piece of a much larger truth, a truth hidden in plain sight within the very fabric of existence.
Exactly. And what's even more exciting is that this exploration isn't limited to ancient texts or traditions. We can apply this lens of mathematical understanding to the world around us today. From the intricate dance of particles in quantum physics to the complex networks of relationships and social systems, the language of mathematics is all around us.
So it's not just about ancient mysticism, it's a whole different way of approaching the world we live in now. We start to see these patterns, these connections in everything. It's like the universe is speaking to us in a code we're only beginning to crack.
And that's the invitation, isn't it? To look closer, to listen more deeply to the whispers of the universe encoded in the language of mathematics. Who knows what other secrets we might uncover when we start paying attention?
This deep dive has been quite the journey. To our listener out there, if math truly is the universal language, whispering secrets across cultures and time, what will you discover when you start listening?
All sources for this podcast can be found at www.godsamongus.com. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next episode of the Gods Among Us video podcast.